Hi everyone, my name is Napadsorn. I am a student in major accounting in International School of Management at University of Thai Chamber of Commerce. Today, I am going to present about my internship. So first, let's go to see our content today. Today, we will go through 5 contents. That is the first one, KPMG backgrounds. The second one, job description and assign works. The third one is audit of cash deposit. The fourth one is audit of work to sell. And the last one is result, internship benefit, and problem. For company backgrounds, KPMG is one of the big 4 audit firms in the world. In Thailand, KPMG has a long tradition of professionalism and integrity. They provide a full range of audits, tax, advisory service, legal, and corporate compliance. And I have opportunity to do my internship in KPMG at trainee audit positions. I will be a little bit in detail about audit part. Audit at KPMG can be separated into 5 industries. The first one is industrial market. This sector will mainly take care of customers who are manufacturers or factories, including Japanese companies such as oil factories, pharmaceutical factories. The second one is technologies, media, and telecommunications. This sector will take care of electronic, entertainment, and telecommunication. And the third one is infrastructures, government, healthcare, and hotel business. This service will take care of customers, groups that are property developers, land, service business, and healthcare business. The fourth one is consumer market. This sector will take care of customers who are distributors of domestic goods, such as companies with alcohol service. And the last one is financial service. This sector will oversee groups that do business related to financial system, investor loans such as banks, insurance companies, export companies, and loan companies. And next one is about job description and assign work. In KPMG, they have resource planning department to allocate job for us. Some job is only take 1 week, 2 weeks, or some job like bank it will take like a whole month to audit. And I got opportunity to perform an audit work with all of the 5 industries. That is very good for me because I will know the difference of how to audit in each industries. And this is work that I have to perform while I doing internship. For example, such as checking cash and bank deposit, checking account receivable, minute summary, checking order expense, cut off of the end of the year, cut off purchase, cut off sale, checking and footing of financial statement report, walkthrough and test of control purchase, walkthrough and test of control banks, and the last one is walkthrough and test of control sale. According to the job descriptions of work that I got assigned, I was very interested on the topic of deposit auditing and interim of walkthrough of sale. So let's go to in detail of deposit auditing. Deposit auditing can divide into 4 majors. The first one is cut off the deposit. We cut off the deposit. The audit objective for this one is the first one, to check the completeness of the deposit account record. The second one is to ensure that the deposit record in the ledgers are accurate. The third one is to check that the deposit account record has exit. The method for the auditing deposit, we will use a cut-off auditing methods. A cut-off auditing method is a selection of all items that occur before and after the end of the accounting period. To be example, by specifying the numbers of days, for examples, checking all transactions that occurring 7 days before and after December 31st, 2019. In order to check this balance, both deposit and withdrawal must be checked to ensure that the company that I went to check recognize the deposit obligations of deposit correctly. After selecting the item, I will take the item to document that is the starting point of accounting, which is called the method vouchings. And this is the example of working papers. In this working paper, it will separate into two parts. The first one is select the numbers of days that have been cut off for balance and take data from the daily effective CD transaction report received from the customer to fill in the data. For the detail of the data will be put on the working papers. And the second part is being the select item to match with JV. JV is journal vouchers. The method to find the JV number can be searched from the GL, general ledgers, that we receive from the customer. And the last one, we will have the tick mark. Tick mark we will put in the every working papers, and they will have the different meanings. For the example, just square one, meaning check transaction with daily effective CD transaction report. And the little one like flowers, meaning check the transaction with JV vouchers, general vouchers. And the second one is auditing deposit with deposit confirmations. The objective of this one is to check whether the deposit items record on the account to access, and the second one is to ensure that the deposit record in the ledgers are accurate. Method for auditing this one will use sending a balance for confirmation letters for the transaction that I chosen to the examples. Sending confirmation letters is to send the document to the third parties, which here refer to the deposit customers as a dividend to confirm that the deposit item recorded by the client companies are correct, and that the deposit obligation with the record balance actually exceed. And the responding confirmations to arcade, meaning requesting confirmation letters by asking the confirmation providers to reply directly to the auditors in order to confirm that the confirmation in the request is correct and no change. And for the third one is checking the accrued interest expense of deposit. The audit objective for this one is the first one, to check all the accrued interest expense that are recorded in the account completeness. And the second one is to ensure that the accrued interest expense are recorded in the ledger's account is accurate. For the example, the method that I use is test calculation. Test calculations is nil calculation by itself using customer data. And for this one, we have two procedures. The first procedure is bring the list of CD outstanding of the client at the end of the accounting period. Come to do the calculation test with the formula used in the calculation are accrued interest equal deposit balance times with the deposit interest rate times with the number of days remaining divided by number of 1 years. For the first procedures, it will be divided into two parts. As you can see at the pictures examples, the first part is a data, the list of CD outstandings of customers, which will have information such as customer name, deposit, customer type, deposit date, due date of the contact, etc. The data to use in the calculation are remaining day. The remaining day is we calculate by the date of deposit contact minus end of the audit period and plus 1. And the next column is deposit rate and balance of deposit at the beginning of the period. For the second part is part of the calculation of the comparison between customer calculation and auditor calculations. And the tick mark 3 is stand for test calculation already. And next one is the second procedures. The second procedure is after we calculating the accrued interest expense for each customers from the list of the CD outstanding of the client, that take the total of the part 1 to fill the working papers as a summaries of the total outstanding interest as comparisons of numbers obtained with GL. GL is general ledgers. And next is the last one of cash deposit auditing is examination interest expense of deposit. The audit objective of this one is to check the company in recording interest expense. And the second one is to ensure that the interest expense record in the ledgers are accurate. And the third one is to check whether the actual interest payment record existence. For method for auditing used are the substantive analytical procedures that we call SAP, or the comparison analysis using the test calculation methods. And for this one is comparative analysis, or SAP, is the comparisons of the data calculated and recorded by the customer with the data that the auditor calculated. And procedure for working and create the paper sheet. The first one is we will take the data from the list of CD outstanding on the last day of each month and the amount of interest paid by customer to record from GL general ledgers each month to fill out the information. By having to perform SAP, data from the first month of the audit accounting period and until the last month of audit accounting period in order to check the accuracies of each month accounting, as well as checking the accuracy of the final sum recorded by the customer in the TB's trial balance. This is the example of the working papers. The column 1 is month of SAP. The second column is the remaining balance of the deposit of the month of SAP. The third column is date of deposit, such as like term of deposit, such as like 3 months, 12 months. The first column is the balance of average deposit of each term. And the column 5 is deposit rate. Column 6 is expected interest expense by interest divided by term calculated by the auditors. The expected interest expense is how to calculate is equal balance amount of deposit time average interest rate and time with the number of days that interest is calculated divided by number of days in 1 year. Column 7 is note in the event that there are additional things to note. Column 8 is the column for inserting the tick mark with the following description. Tick mark is stand for test calculations. Column 9, interest that customer calculate and record. Column 10, the column for inserting of tick mark with the following descriptions. The tick mark that like envelope is meaning take the interest amount record from the GL ledgers, and TB meaning bring the interest expense amount at the end of the account period from the trial balance. And column 11 is the difference between the amount of interest that the auditors can calculate and the interest paid by the customers. And the 12th column is the percentage of the difference. Use the comparison with the acceptable different percentage. The second procedure is after we save the interest expense, auditor have to check in more detail by select the transaction to check the credibility of the interest expense by taking data from the list of CD outstanding at the end of the account period to create a working papers. This is the example working papers. As you can see, the first column is the order of data. The second column is the customer code deposit. The third column is the customer name deposit. Column 4 is customer type such as individual, partnership. Column 5 is deposit commission numbers, and column 6 is deposit time. Column 7 is the column of inserting of tick mark with the following descriptions. The triangle meaning is to check information with a copy of deposit card. Column 8 is the effective data of the contacts. column 9 is column of inserting the tick marks. Describes is already described as the column 6. Column 10 is the due date of the deposit contact. Column 11 is the column of inserting of tick mark also, and column 12 is the interest rate of list of CD outstanding. Column 13 is the interest rate paid on deposit that customers have publicly announced on websites. And column 14 is the column of inserting of tick mark. And the tick mark, for example, is AN. AN is meaning to checking interest rate with the announcements of published deposit rate. And the square one is meaning the interest rate that the bank used to calculate the interest payment that correspond to the announced of public deposit rate. Next one is about work to sell. Work to sell is part of interim. Interim is also part of audit works or audit strategies, where the audit testing is performed on interim financial statement. That is part of audit strategy when the audit want to review audit work at the annual report or final auditing. A work to test is the procedure used during an audit of an entity's account system to gain its reliability. Walkthrough is also one of the interim part. Audit had to go to ask the client for the process of the companies. Example, for sale, auditor had to go to ask the manager of sale that what is the process when the company sell the good. In order to know how good they control, an auditor had to select one of transaction and look at that transaction done by following the company process or not. And this is an example of work to sell. The work to sell as the example can be separated into two parts. The first one is local manufacturing sale, and the second one is overseas manufacturing sale. And this is the example of the working papers of the head. This is only the example. The number 1 is the name of the company that I went to check. The number 2 is the name of the working paper maker. The third one is the date of auditing. The fourth one is period end. The fifth is audit objective. Audit objective of work to sell is to understand the process and document flow of sale process. And the second one is to understand and identify the control over the sale process. Number 6 is audit procedures. Audit procedures of this one is select samples and obtain order documents that relate to sale transactions to be the sample of the document flow. Number 7 is the symbol of the company that owns the papers. And the last number 8, is the name of the working papers. Like for example, this one, work to sell local manufacturing process, work to sell overseas manufacturing process. And let's go to local manufacturing sale. This is the examples working papers. There we have 4 columns. The first one is document name. The second one is reference, link to the support documents such as copy of tag, invoice, stock movement. The third column is document detail, and the fourth one is their control, how they control. You have to write it in detail. And for the local sale manufacturing, the company that I went to check, for example, I will look at purchase order, sale order, tag invoice, delivery order, stock movement, and GL. And next one is about the overseas manufacturing sale. As you can see at the example in the pictures, everything is the same as the local manufacturing sale, but we have to look into more for working for documents such as delivery invoice, packing list, bill of lading, airway bill, and completed BL report. and other thing is the same. And now we are in the last content of the presentations. I will talk the result first. From the January 6, 2020, that is the first day of my internship. I have got many experience with KPMG Thailand, and the first week was orientation and training for trainees. I think training is very useful. That is can recall what I have learned in the universities, and stuff that come on that day is very fairly. Then week after was my first time of working as an audit trainee. While I am doing an internship at KPMG, I have opportunity to join all of the 5 industries. Each of them is very different, especially and very difficult, especially financial service. Because financial service that I went to check is about bank. This industry use very long time to audit, and I also get opportunity to footing and checking the financial report that make me know that how hard auditors. And the people that I meet while I doing internship, they put a lot of effort to work, and they show me how to be a good auditors, and because of this make me want to be a good auditor like them. And next one is about benefit of internship. The first internship benefit me about career expectations. It give opportunity to me to learn about a career field from the insights and decide if this is right career field for me. And I have opportunity to work alongside a professionals and observe the workplace and see if it match expectations, and I also gain the knowledge about the specific that I have to use for auditors. And the second one is it's very enhance my self skill development, learn new skill and add to my knowledge, but while gaining confidence in my abilities, opportunity to practice communication and teamwork skill. And lastly, internship give me opportunity to meet new people and practice networking skill while establishing a network of professional contact, mentors, and reference. And for the last one, I will talk about the problem that I faced while I during internship. My expectation, the problem with the team have not occurred. My team from 7 jobs that I have a chance to work with are very nice. They are good and helpful when I ask some questions. And the atmosphere when I work together are very good. They are very friendly. And for the client part, I have experience with some of my client attitude, and I have a problem with the delay of the document that the client have to prepare and provide for us. This one is can effective the time that my team that we divided by to do a test in at beginning of the job. And that is all of my presentation today. So thank you for watching me.